He's telling her that they're going to get married in secret.
He calls her his spirit wife.
Which is very funny to me. That he's like, you're my spirit wife because nobody will ever see you. You know, like a spirit, Katie?
Only I can see you.
Nobody will ever see you, right, spirit wife?
Spirit wife. I mean, that's the cheapest wife.
That's
at least maybe a Delta wife. United. Sorry.
That spirit takes forever to get here.
Sorry, yeah.
A lot of delays.
Yeah. Use that to cancel it out. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Overshadowed Podcast, the only podcast about the siblings and spouses of people who changed the world. I'm Zach.
I'm Charles.
I'm realizing we didn't introduce ourselves last episode.
Oh, we didn't?
I know they're the
I
episode.
know who we are by then.
Hey,
if you're listening to that last,
you know who we are. But today we're covering the deadbeat, alcoholic, no good younger brother of Theodore Roosevelt, Elliott Roosevelt, and that's obviously not entirely true. That's how Theo thought of him. Elliott was taken from us, me and you specifically, early in life at 34 after a suicide attempt and complications from alcoholism and seizures that ultimately were caused by his brother's attempt to cover up a scandal that Elliott was involved in where he fathered a bastard child of a prostitute. Mm-hmm. So we got a pretty spicy
of a prostitute?
She was, well, you know, I don't think she worked as a prostitute. It might have been a one-time thing.
Okay.
She wasn't a prostitute.
Yeah, that's just
her lawyers were
prostitute lawyers.
Yeah. So she might have gotten a card
Good
from one of her friends.
Good business to get into.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it's a pretty spicy episode. I had never heard of Elliott. I mean, granted, I never heard of any of his siblings, but in all the biographies and everything that we've read and listened to and watched in preparation for this episode, Elliott is like singularly swept under the rug.
Well, that's what Theo would have wanted, too.
Exactly. Well, yeah, he thought Elliott was a moral stain on the Roosevelt name, and as we'll discuss today, Theo was really preoccupied with how the Roosevelts were being portrayed. His father was a great man. He wanted to continue that legacy, and he thought Elliott was, by association, kind of tarnishing the Roosevelt name and Theo's personal ambitions to become the president. Mm-hmm. So this is very similar to the Rosemary episode.
Yeah, back then it seemed like
I don't want to jump the gun, but
yeah, well, I mean, it's similar in the way that the elite, if anything happened, they would just shoo that person away at any means necessary.
Yeah, if your brother wanted to become the president, you needed to sit upright.
You better hope that you didn't have a weird chromosome in your brain.
You got to hope that you don't have any birth defects or
birthmarks.
Birthmarks.
And as we'll come to keep this question in mind, the way that Theo becomes president makes you wonder, did he need to do this to his brother?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because he did, we'll talk about the whole life and we'll get to what he did to Elliott, but
if you know anything about Theo, he wasn't elected president.
Yeah.
He was VP.
Yeah, he was VP, and the assassination jettisoned him up to president.
You love jettison.
Love the word jettison.
Yeah.
You got to have a word
good.
You love.
Jettison's good.
What words do you love? Maybe grow a little bit and get back to me. But anyway,
no,
I'm
I got to take a look at my calendar for today.
Your word calendar.
Cahoots.
Your Advent. You
I
got
like
Snickers
cahoots.
in that thing? Cahoots is good.
Cahoots
you
is
do
good.
love cahoots.
I don't
you say cahoots
I
a
just
lot.
brought this up now. You haven't known of cahoots.
Cahoots triggered many memories of the podcast.
A collage.
Yeah, you love cahoots.
I love cahooting.
Zach Cahoots Russell.
Yep, cahooters.
Zach and the Cahooters.
Yeah, I think something's going on. I think it's more than just boobs and ass. I think they're in cahooters.
You think this Hooters is in cahoots?
I think they're in cahoots. I think they're
Dave and
conspiracy.
Buster's?
Yeah. Probably. Where'd the mouse go? Oh, here it is. We're trying some high-tech stuff here. Oh, no, do I have to retype in my password? All right, so hold on. We're talking about our favorite words. Oh, you said jettison. That's where we were.
Then we went to cahoots.
Yeah, so you want to pick us back up at
well, we're talking about the question
Theo and his presidency. Yes, the question that you raised.
Theo did all of these things that you will soon hear about to Elliott because he was worried that if the public found out about his illegitimate child with his chambermaid, that it would ruin his reputation and people wouldn't vote for him because there was a president, I forgot his name, Garfield.
Grover Cleveland, I think?
Grover Cleveland.
Andrew Garfield was
something
a president.
with a G.
Or is that an actor?
Was it Garfield or Grover?
He was Spider-Man.
Look it up. We don't care about this person.
No, I don't remember what year it was, but he was supposed to win by a landslide, and he won by a razor-thin margin because he had
like 1/4% because he had an illegitimate child and all these Christian
losers,
pussies,
nerds.
All these
a coalition of virgins got together and started chanting, in his re-election campaigns or whatever, "Ma, ma, ma, where is my paw?"
Yes.
Which is pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's sad.
To have to ignore that.
Yeah.
I wonder if they dressed up in diapers and did the whole thing. They had like a baby bonnet
shaking,
and a binky, and it's like, this is more about your own fetishes than my impropriety.
Spank me. Yeah.
It's like,
Ma, and then
he's like, if it'll get me a vote. He just lines him up.
Don't kiss the baby. Spank
You don't kiss the baby. Spank the protester. That's what they want.
So Rusey here, TR, Big Teddy Rose.
Rusey.
Yeah, I called him that.
Okay.
Me and him were boys.
We do need new nicknames for TR, Teddy, TD, as
T.
they called him
Rusey?
as a kid. T. Ruski. Yeah, he was secretly a communist,
Yeah.
as we'll disclose later in the episode.
But he was a big family guy, and that's what people loved about him. So he was like, oh no, if it gets out that my brother has an illegitimate, that's going to throw all this away.
Yeah, an illegit.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'll have to quit.
So, but I think at the end of the episode, ask yourself, was this necessary?
Right. So we've heard about, you know about Theo, and that the point of this podcast is not to cover Theodore Roosevelt's achievements, but we'll just rattle some off so you can maybe, in your mind, be like, oh, he's that guy. He big hunter,
Yep.
Bull Moose Party. That's when he tried to run for the second time. He ran
Lost.
as an independent. He lost.
Wasn't he the national parks guy?
He might have been.
Or what? I think he was the national
did
parks
some
guy.
kind of land act.
Yeah.
Yeah. But conservationism for the purpose of using it for hunting, which I'll take it.
Yep.
I'll take it. Square deal.
That was sweet.
Panama Canal. He, and we'll talk about this, instigated the Spanish-American War as the assistant naval secretary so that he could fight in it.
He had a
Once
little
it
chip on his
started,
shoulder.
he quit his job immediately and went to fight in it.
Like American Idol.
Crazy.
He's like, this is my chance to sing.
Yeah, I guess, but if like Seacrest, raised the funds and pitched the show and then quit to be a contestant, that's what it would be like if a network exec, you know what I mean? If the showrunner was like, all right, I'm now on the reality show.
And then it's like if he made it to Hollywood and then dropped out. And it was like, I was on it. 'Cause
Right.
He didn't go all the way.
Yep. Yeah,
he got
didn't go
enough
all the-
action to be like, I was in it, baby.
And then he backed up. Now he's on the judge's side.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, what are you doing? So, yeah, that's a big theme for Teddy. He really wants to dip his toe into every experience that he can have in his life.
Everything that is man.
Yes.
But he's also a very positive, charismatic person. He was the first president. He was the youngest president ever elected.
Yeah.
And he kind of did
Probably
away.
ever will be.
I would think, 42. I mean, you may be able to be.
That's 7 years
I don't know.
from the minimum.
Well, I mean, this is I think our country obviously they want a much younger president, but I don't think anybody.
Shave off a few decades.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, maybe a century.
Biden falls more than he stands at this point. But
He's prone more than he's up.
I mean, Biden, have you heard of a wheelchair? Just get in it, buddy.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Or like they need to glue some.
FDR didn't have that much pride.
Yeah, put
Just
something.
sit down.
Please.
Just sit down.
Take a seat.
Come
Get
on.
Bernie Sanders the weekend of Bernie, this guy. I mean, stand him up, prop him up, do something.
One of Bernie's most popular memes, he's sitting down. It's
Yeah.
okay.
He's got mittens
Joe,
on, too.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just take a seat.
Please.
Let those dogs rest.
But I don't think anybody of the 35 to 40s wants to be president.
Yeah, he had this burning desire, this ambition. It's because he was from this great family, like one of the capital letters and families of New York, like the Astors, the Roosevelts. They're very rich. One of the first, I think they were Dutch, one of the first patriarchs of the Roosevelt name, Cornelius von Schack, a.k.a. CVS, no relation, Roosevelt, came over. He was a hardware importer. They ended up switching to glass. So that's how Theodore Roosevelt Sr. made a lot of his buck, he was a glass man. Tits are glass. He chose glass.
I'm more of a glass man.
I'm more of a
myself.
glass guy. Look, when you're
Tits
an
you're
adult,
born
you
with.
realize it's all about the glass.
Yeah, glass you can shape yourself. If you get that thing hot enough,
Yeah, you can build
put-
glass. You can build a nice piece of glass if you blast it with enough heat.
trust me, I'm packing.
Trust me, dude.
So
Yeah, so his father was wealthy. His father was I think his father was a good guy. Now, granted, I thought Teddy was a good guy until I dug a little deeper.
Yeah.
So I don't know too much about Senior, but I do know that he was a philanthropist. His kids were mostly fucked up, by and large. They had some
Yeah.
difficulties. All right, what are we dealing with here? We
well,
got,
Theo was born with extreme asthma.
so is his sister Connie.
Okay.
So
and
two asthmatics.
Elliott had huge headaches, migraines, and seizures.
And Anna, I think, Anne, who they called Bammy or Bai,
Yeah,
her nickname was Bye.
Weird. That was reading about that where they're like, and he told Bye. I'm like, somebody doesn't know how to write.
Wait, who's on first?
Yeah.
It was like, what is this weird bit you guys are doing? Bammy had, she was the most fucked up. She had like a spinal deformity that people blamed on like a nurse dropping her. It was.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with these.
They come out with pizza face, blue skin.
Yeah.
Kentucky blue face over here.
Well, I mean, Eleanor Roosevelt, who is the daughter of Elliott. So that's one of his legacies, is that he gave birth to Eleanor Roosevelt, who the great wife of FDR. But Eleanor Roosevelt married her fifth. So, give her some slack. Fifth cousin, FDR.
Yeah.
So FDR and Eleanor, like those families are linked. Teddy is related to FDR.
Back then it was all Olive Garden. When you're here, you marry family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Because his kids were so messed up, he tried to help them, fix them, and then he also he was like, God, I bet there's more fucked up kids than mine. He went looking for those kids, went to some hospitals, found these crippled kids, tried to... at his banquets or parties that he would hold, he would be like, you gotta give me some money to help out these kids. And everyone's like, I don't wanna. And then he's like, if you could see them, I think you'd wanna give. And so he brought these kids into one of these mixers, and people were like, this is horrible.
Really harsh the vibe.
Kind of harsh the vibe, kind of weird. He's like, you guys, I got a surprise.
Look at this guy, he's got a hand on
strippers? He's like, no.
Yeah.
Close. The mom's a stripper.
Yeah.
That's why the kid's in this position. But he got these kids. He showed them what his rich friends what quote modern medicine like leg braces and stuff could do for these kids. Real life Shriners. You know the Shriners commercials? No, with the disabled kids.
I mean, I've probably seen them.
You've seen a disabled kid commercial with like no legs but a charming smile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 2 fingers but beaming, and you're like, I want to help that kid.
Yeah.
I think that's what he did. He just
that kid's
brought
hot
them
where
in.
It counts. So I'll give money.
In the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, good face. Don't look anywhere else.
Nope.
But good face. It's face you want to give to. So that's what, that was one of Theodore Roosevelt Sr.'s contributions. He didn't fight in the Civil War because...
Yep.
You want to say it?
The Roosevelt family was split between Northerners and Southerners.
Yes.
So TR Sr. was a New York native. He was born in New York. And then the mother, what was the mother's name?
Martha.
Martha was a big old fat peach from Georgia.
Georgia peach. Fuzzy little peach.
They met. This guy's from the north. She's from the south. Mm-hmm. The values probably conflicted.
Could it be any more obvious?
What?
Could it be any more
obvious? Couldn't be any more obvious. He
Her
saw
family
them
owned
as people.
slaves.
She saw them as property. They ended up marrying anyway.
Marriage is always a compromise.
He was a northerner, she was a southerner. They couldn't agree about slaves.
She wanted to till the land, he wanted to set them free.
And they just couldn't behave. Also, you got to think about their first date where they're like, okay, now slaves. On 3, we're going to say what they mean to us.
On 3, we're going to say how we feel about them.
1, 2, 3.
Property people.
Oh,
I meant property. They're both trying to.
And I wonder if it was. I wonder if it went this way, because when you're on a date as a guy and the girl's hot, you kind of align yourself with her values. Yeah. And she's like, "Yeah, you're a Virgo, so you're like really into slaves." And he's like,
"So like, how do you do chores?" And you're like, "Me?
I don't do them.
I don't do nothing."
Good, that was a test. So the Civil War happens. This family's split up.
Split family.
And they look to TR Sr. to be like, are you going to fight in the Civil War?
Yes.
And he goes, look, I can't fight in the Civil War. This is a family.
Because of my bitch wife.
Because of my slut wife.
She didn't want, she couldn't bear the thought of him killing one of her brothers.
Yeah.
Which, fair.
Fair
point.
So he gets a job, and this is where...
More meaningful job.
He goes, same thing like what he did with the kids. He goes around all the bars where all the troops were, and was like, hey...
I don't know if it was the bars, maybe the camp. I think like camps. The camps.
Goes down to the camps?
Yeah, it goes down to the Dave and Buster's that the soldiers were spending all their allowance on. And he started raising a collection fund to give to the families, the women of the wives of the soldiers who were struggling at home. Which is crazy they didn't have that set up previous to the war.
Yeah,
it's like so you're just hauling around cash as you're trying to fight people, and then it's like in a
shot me
video,
right in the cash.
it's like a video game where like you shoot them and then you pick up his loot. Yeah, it's like coins fly out.
Whoa, here's the deed to his house.
Yeah, TRS is like, there's got to be a better way.
That's why cargo pants were invented in the first place.
Yeah.
This is for your deed. This is your gun. This is your cash.
Yeah, that's why they had all those pockets on the outside. We're just carrying just stacks of cash. And then TRS is like, I'll take it back to your wife who is hungry.
Yeah.
And needs to feed your family.
Now cashless. So that's a really meaningful job.
Better way to serve your country than dying in a,
almost immediately.
Right.
In the bloodiest
in
war
like
in American history. But the problem is, which we'll find out later, TR Jr., Teddy Roosevelt, hated this.
Yeah, he thought it was his father's one flaw.
Yeah.
That he didn't fight. And which is, to me, very toxic masculinity of TR. But he saw his dad as this robust, strong, muscly man, and he was this young, asthmatic, gangly, high-pitched bitch.
Yeah, well, also all his friends were coming home with the war stories like, my dad just killed 8 Southerners. What'd your dad do? And he's like, what? My dad
gave money to the wives.
Yeah. You know how your mom had a hot soup last night? My dad gave your mom money. I don't know. Scratch that for a better joke.
that's yeah.
But he was embarrassed. And that probably was the first
also, my dad loaded cannons, and it's like my dad
lined pockets of moms.
Yeah, right. Lined moms, yeah. My dad was cleaning pools.
Yeah.
During the war.
Nothing wrong with that.
So zooming out here, talking about the Civil War, a lot of the biographies of Teddy Roosevelt start with him and Elliott watching Lincoln's funeral procession.
Yeah.
Mary Todd Lincoln wanted him to go straight from D.C., where he was shot, to Illinois, and the general, Stanton, somebody at the time, was like, the country's got to see him.
Got to see this dead guy.
They got to see this.
We got to charge.
You know how he got shot in the back of the head? I think everyone should see that.
Yeah.
I think everyone would benefit from seeing that kind of thing.
Hear me out. I know you want to go straight to Illinois. What if we
delay your dead husband arrest? Let's do a national tour.
Let's do a countrywide farewell tour, open cask. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Meet me in the middle here, huh, babe?
Yeah.
What was the wife's
name?
Let's
do a closed eyes, open casket.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Be pretty cool.
So they take him on this almost 2,000-mile sojourn as a dead guy. They go, I got the map here. They go from D.C. to Baltimore, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, New York, Albany, Buffalo, Cleveland, Columbus, Indianapolis, Michigan City.
Jeez.
Which I feel like would be called Ann Arbor now. I don't think there is a Michigan City anymore. Chicago, or maybe the guy who made this map was an idiot. Chicago.
Michigan City.
Oh, fuck, I'm tired.
Chicago City. Wisconsin town.
And then they ended in Springfield, which is about where he was born.
You know, it's crazy. My Chemical Romance, the Black Parade played when they Lincoln's funeral procession. When I was a young boy.
My father raised me in a log cabin.
I also wonder
to
if
feel that blacks were people. He said, someday you'll grow up to free them, the slaves, and you won't leave them.
You'll be murdered at a play. I wonder how many people, if Lincoln had groupies, that following around like a concert groupie. They were just like, did you see him in Michigan City?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was there.
In Albany, dude. We've been here since Baltimore.
They popped the casket open in Illinois. It was sick.
They did pop it open.
Yeah.
They popped it in the fumes of freedom. Let's emancipate that corpse, huh? Let me see him.
Let's see 3/5 of that body. I wonder if they kept a top hat on the guy, too.
I don't think so. That would be a tall casket. That's a tall order.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I wonder what they're buying the casket. They're like, so will this travel well? He's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, is this like a road casket or is this more of like he's like, I mean, this goes in the ground.
And warranties, if it's dropped, do you repair for free or 2-year or what is this?
Do I have to register anywhere?
Yeah, is there an email? I mean, what if you think they would do that? I think Trump would want that.
Ooh,
I bet Trump would request that when he dies, they parade him around MAGA America.
I mean, he might like to be driven in a procession, but maybe he would like to be in a vertical casket like a vampire.
That's what I think, and he's still saying
towed
words.
by a helicopter.
It's all good.
Playing his speech. You're ugly.
I'm popular in heaven.
Yeah.
Yep.
God likes me. I'm good friends with Jesus.
Me and Jesus, we hang out every night.
Yep. Peter, let me right in. Epstein's here. He's fucking the cherubs. It's a little weird, but to each his own.
A lot of documents up here.
A lot of documents. Yeah, dude, I picture him in like a transparent glass, because I picture him being towed by a helicopter.
Oh.
That's like an aerial, like a flyover. Like a Blue Angel
Yeah,
thing.
and eventually
I think I saw him. Quick, make a wish.
Is that a UAP? Unidentified. The other name for,
unidentified president. Are you
is that unidentified American president?
No, we know who it is.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
It's an IAP. Yeah, so Teddy and Elliott, like how a lot of people are first introduced to Teddy, and Elliott is like the one time he's mentioned in a lot of the history is at Lincoln's funeral procession, watching him in New York, which is
a first core memory of theirs.
Oh, yeah. And on the tour, it listed that, how many stops? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So a majority of the stops, they did like open up glass, or like you could see him. Like they popped him out. It must have been tough near the end of the tour. Like Mary Todd must have received him just like... just in a real tough state.
It's like when you go on vacation, you forget you have spinach in the fridge.
Oh, God.
And you come home and you're like, ew. It's all one.
Is it even spinach?
Yeah, what is that?
Is that Lincoln?
Throw it out.
Yeah. You hold your breath and run the sink.
Yeah.
Just put soap in it.
Yeah.
I can't even look.
Just burn him.
She just dumped him in a hole, just like just holding her nose. Just go.
Open the casket by the bottom. He melts in.
Yeah.
God.
Woof. Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder what people thought of this whole thing. Like,
oh, I'm sure they loved it.
Yeah, but you got to imagine there must be some people like you go. I'm not going to that. No. I think that's crazy.
Maybe. I mean, there was nothing else to. There wasn't a lot to do.
You're right. Whether you liked it or not.
Friends wasn't on.
Yeah, that would be a few years later.
That would be only 3 years later, contrary to
during
popular
Reconstruction,
belief.
Friends was what held the country together.
First studio audience was 1873.
This Democrat and Republican a fight almost broke out. Yeah, but dude, the South and Reconstruction era America is pretty interesting because I didn't realize, which is maybe naive on my part, how forced Reconstruction was. Like they didn't want to. I mean, there was a war.
Yeah.
That they lost, and then it wasn't like, all right. Good game.
Yeah.
You line up and shake hands. Let's get some orange slices. They're very resistant, the South. And by the way, this is the time when the Republicans are pro-black and anti-slavery, and the like Southern Democrats.
Yeah.
Jeffersonian farmer slave-owning Democrats.
Well, it's like when Trump lost, he still said, I didn't lose.
Right. So in order to enforce the victory of the North and the unification of the country and no more slavery, they had federal troops stationed in different southern areas to be like, hey, what's he doing in that field?
Yeah.
Put down the shovel. No, you go home. You don't have to be here.
He's doing it because he wants to. He knows he's free. No, he's not.
No, if I got to tell you one more time, I'm going to let you off with a warning, all right? He's like trying to slyly put up nooses. Hey!
Yeah, what are you doing? You said it was just a rope. You're making a loop.
What, is that a loop I see?
No.
So
it's a dream catcher.
So
I know what kind of dreams you're trying to catch.
No. You have to have designs in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm not falling for that again. Are you telling me that's an unfinished dream catcher? Yeah. I don't think so. The Reconstruction South was a tough place. The guy after Lincoln, I think Andrew Johnson. There's a lot of Andrew J's.
It was Johnson then Jackson.
I think it was Andrew Johnson who was Lincoln's VP, who was racist and vetoed the 14th Amendment, which was the equal citizenship. If you were born here, you're a citizen regardless of race. He vetoed that. It's the only time in history Congress overrode his veto.
Nice.
Pretty cool. 2/3 majority.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you just got to go home. The president like, well,
oof, I used the veto.
That was tough.
That was hard. I put my cock and balls on the table and they chopped them off.
Yeah.
Whew.
Did anybody see that? Oh, yeah.
Nobody's going to remember that, right?
It's looking bad for ops.
You go home Friday, you're like, it'll blow over by Monday.
Fine.
They go in.
Go home, there's a bunch of African-American people outside his house. Hey, guys.
Tapping their foot. Use the V, huh? The 14th Amendment isn't stated. Everyone's a citizen. Hooray. But the
Southern Roosevelts are not happy.
Martha's pissed. Martha's like, who's going to work my vineyard? The South is starts doing a very childish thing. It just seems childish. They start, You know how you're playing a game with a kid and you score a point and the kid immediately is like, doesn't count, new
We
rule.
didn't start yet.
New rule.
Yeah. New rule, if you score, it doesn't count.
So that's what the South was doing. But instead of new rule, they were like black codes.
Yeah,
grandfather clause.
Yeah.
If your grandfather could vote, you could vote. But if he couldn't, then you. It's like, what is that?
And
mean?
then that had to come down to like the states' rights and the lines that were drew.
Oh, I don't know.
Like the.
I just know that efforts were made to restrict and go back on the equality of the 14th Amendment. So like Rutherford B. Hayes, who's the president after Johnson.
Ooh, Rutherford, behave.
Rutherford behaves. It's fun. He was like, you know what? I'm kind of tired. Like, people lost interest in Reconstruction. Who's texting you?
People are texting me nonstop.
Stop looking at your phone.
It's a booker. I'm trying to get it booked.
No, stop getting
Arizona.
booked.
I'm trying to headline.
Yeah, well, let's stop. Rutherford B. Hayes was like, look, is anyone still, like, interested in this? Or can we just pull out? And so he pulled federal troops out of the South, kind of like Afghanistan. Like, we went in with good intentions, and then
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
We went in with good intentions, for sure.
Yeah. You know, Afghanistan.
Really good intentions. Hey, guys, don't worry. Great intentions here.
Marines come in. They're like, rule 1, have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rutherford B. Hayes, he's like, mission accomplished. We did it. War's over. Let's go home. Let's, focus on restricting women's rights and stuff like that at home. On the domestic front, not the international southern front. So he withdraws, and then that's when Jim Crow starts, and, everything goes to shit until really the second Reconstruction, which was MLK.
Yeah.
So that's a brief civil rights lesson. If you didn't know, now you know. It must have sucked in Reconstruction because for a brief period, black Southerners knew kind of what it meant to be an equal citizen. Like, black people were holding office. They were in the government for like 15 years, maybe. There was a brief period. And then when Rutherford B. Hayes was like, mission accomplished, let's leave, that all went away. And Jim Crow started, and that's when things got really bad because now they're not slaves, but they're like demonized by their white previous captors.
So he was kind of a Sub-Zero.
What?
Well, get over here.
Who?
Rutherford.
For the troops. Yeah, I guess.
Not for the troops, but for the blacks. He was like,
get over here.
Get over here.
Yeah. Okay.
Get it?
I get it. No, I
got a little bit further away with progress, and he's like, get back.
Yes. It just must have sucked for those people who had a taste of the good life.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine being like a black house like representative and then, going back to like being a sharecropper? Just brutal. I mean, this is a hard take, but it's almost would be better if they never had that.
Never had the taste.
I mean, the taste was important because then they're like, well, now we know what we can achieve.
But I know what you mean.
And what
the
we're capable
pain must
of.
have been
It's just
so
the
much
pain,
more.
the pain of the getting so close and then being dragged. It's like when Bruce Wayne's trying to get out of that hole in Batman. He like keeps trying to get the rope, and he finally makes it out, and that's when MLK sets him free.
100 years later.
Yeah, they cut that out of the movie, but MLK reaches down and pulls him up. And he's like, I got bitches back at the house. They blew up my brothers. They don't know. I'm scot-free, baby.
Don't tell Coretta.
I'm Coretta scot-free. So that's kind of what was happening, which is funny because none of that actually comes into play for Elliott's life.
Yeah.
Like, that's how removed
they're
they
so
are.
rich.
They're rich.
Yeah.
They're northern. This doesn't affect them at all. But all of that's happening in the background of their lives. And I think you're going to...
I want to do
talk about like
these are some events,
progress.
Yeah, progress, events, inventions that happened from their birth to their death. But let's start 1848. Well, basically, I have some of the years.
48.
1848 was the gold rush. So Theo was born 56, 53.
Nope, 58.
58. So 10 years beforehand. They're still growing up. Gold rush.
Yep.
Industrial Revolution. Telephone. We're at 1876 right now. We started in 48 with the gold rush.
Okay.
Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
So, by the way, 76, this is when Elliott's 16.
Yep. So telephone comes out. This guy's like...
Oh, yeah, he's calling up ladies.
I mean, Elliott was a playboy.
Yeah,
now
we're going to get
dialing.
into that. Yeah, we got nerd versus hunk.
Yep.
Early
Meeting girls
on.
at school. What's your number? 8? Call you tonight. Classic.
I always thought of you more as a 7, but I guess I'll call 8.
Telephone comes out 1876. Statue of Liberty's finished 86.
Wow, that seems later, I guess, but maybe not. Okay.
Yeah. Kodak cameras, 88.
What about Kodak Black? When did he
Kodak
come on
Black,
the scene?
89.
89, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Eiffel Tower, 89.
That's
1890.
the first time two guys fucked a lady
Yeah.
from either side.
High-fived on top.
Wait, the Statue of Liberty was completed before the Eiffel Tower? Suck it, France!
Yeah. Well, I mean, they built both, but
Well, no, we built the second one. I mean, sorry, we built the Statue of Liberty. They just gave it to us.
We did?
Some assembly required. Yeah.
I thought...
Toys R Us didn't build my Legos. I did.
I thought
I
they
just
built
got
it
'em
in
from
France
them.
and delivered it to us as a gift.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. But we had to figure out the whole salt spray thing. It was rusting from the wind and the corrosion of the salt water. So some kind of insulation. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But keep going.
Bicycles were huge.
Yeah.
Bicycles were seen as
You're
like
telling me.
A symbol of freedom in the country.
Cool. I actually think I saw that. The first bicycle looked pretty sick.
Yeah.
It looked like one of those experimental cars now.
Yeah.
All
like a
angular
concept
and
car.
like no one
like
would
the
really
Tesla
drive that.
Cybertruck.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I also wonder if you got some ladies, if you could pop a wheelie.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
some-
wheelies would start in the South once the slaves were freed.
Woo! That's how the wheelie was made because the first slave was so happy. Yeah.
It was
There's a bar spin. In the X Games, are white people just culturally appropriating
yeah.
black people's happiness on
Black people
bikes.
trying to get away.
Like the first time anybody did this, standing on a bike. You know,
Oh,
you
yeah,
get the
yeah,
speed
when you're
method.
really aggressive. Does that make you go faster?
Oh, yeah.
I think you just look like a goof.
That gets you across borders real quick.
Yep, yeah. That'll get you free.
That gets you away from a dog.
You can escape the Fugitive Slave Act if you wheelie enough.
Bicycles, Wild Wests, the legends were alive. So this is Billy the Kid.
Wild West, the legends were
The Wild West legends lived in the West and committed crimes and were written about. Billy the Kid, Wyatt Earp, Calamity Jane. Theo was back home reading about all these people, idolizing them.
Calamity Jane?
Calamity Jane.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, I don't know. Calamity. Let's bring that word back. Make that your new
Calamity
favorite.
is a great word.
That was last night. A lot of calamity.
Calamitous.
That sounds like a Southern girl.
My hands were a
sounds
little
like a girl you meet in
clammy.
the South. I'm calamitous.
Yeah. That was Elliott's illegitimate son.
Calamitous third.
Calamitous Jenkins Roosevelt.
So these kids are up and shooting up the West.
Yeah.
Einstein's theory of relativity.
Yep. Hate that guy.
The Wright brothers achieved the first successful flight, 1903.
Wait, what is this? An overshadowed tour through history?
Yeah. Well, this is now. So now we're getting close to Theo's presidency.
Okay.
Which crazier things happened. He was presidency from 1903 to 1906 to
It could have been an
09?
odd year. It could have been because it was
it was
assassination.
yeah.
Related.
All
right, so I get your point. We're blazing through time and space here and
Yeah.
technology.
Well, then World War I, and that's where Theo's family dies. His son.
Theo's son dies in World War I? Oh, interesting.
Because they grew up with a father that says you got to go to war.
warmongering-
But they lived through all of this, is what I'm just trying to say.
Yeah.
Elliott didn't.
It was the biggest change. I think people categorize Elliott's and Theo's birth to the 1900s, the early as the biggest change the country underwent.
Yeah, you went from like musket fire to cars and women's suffrage and theory of evolution.
Yeah, that's
and now
a big
you
change.
have guerrilla warfare, like trench warfare. What was it? Trench warfare to aerial. Now planes are dropping bombs and things like that.
Yeah, didn't Roosevelt TR's son die as an aviator in World War I?
I think so. Yeah,
Which
I
is
think he was
crazy because
shot
there were
down.
like 50 planes.
Yeah.
That was also, I think we talked about this in the right episode. It's like, who's going to war in this thing? They just proved that it could fly.
And people are like,
let alone put guns on.
yeah, right now.
Let's mount some machine guns.
Put some guns on the wings and a couple of steel balls on the tail.
Yeah.
Let's fucking do this.
Yeah, dude. So a lot going on. But now we're gonna zoom back, rewind, fast forward, whatever you want. I guess we'll rewind back to Elliott.
Hotel Rwanda.
Hotel Rewind us back to Elliott and Theo's childhood, and because they were pretty competitive as kids.
Very competitive, both very ill.
Yeah, I think Theo was iller. He was the illest.
I mean, he had asthma, but the brother had seizures. What would
Yeah,
you
but-
rather have?
I think seizures, because it's.
Whoa, you're crazy.
I don't know how bad the seizures were, though.
I think any seizure is worse than asthma.
I'm with you with seizures being bad, but asthma's with you. If it's exercise induced, it's like up into a point, you know? Seizures just seem more rare.
And scary.
Rarer, scarier.
You could have frequent seizures, though. We don't know how frequent these.
We don't know a lot about Elliott.
But to your point, Theo had asthma bad enough that Elliott had to carry Theo up and down the stairs as a kid.
And his dad would, like, I read this in the book, throughout the night, Theo couldn't sleep because of his asthma, he would take him on like a carriage ride and just like open up his son's lungs to the night air.
Whoa.
So like on the back of a horse, the son's just like struggling to breathe. He's
Okay,
like,
so
take it in, Teddy.
Taking that horse poop air.
Taking that, musty horse air.
Also, you got to think this is back in if you built a building, like you look at these New York buildings, they have stairs up to their because it was all designed because there's so much horse poop.
Yeah, the first floor starts on the second floor because the first level of the city is just poop. Yeah.
And then he's like, let's take a ride in the fresh poop. Let's open those lungs up.
Let's get some shitty fresh air.
Let's get you out of this nice house. And
yeah. So they were both kind of sickly. They're all a little sick. But Theo was a nerdy, asthmatic, gangly, high-pitched. I mean, if you've ever heard look up Theodore Roosevelt voice. It's crazy. He sounds like he just sucked up helium.
Yeah.
He's into animals, taxidermy. He's like really obsessed with it. He would keep like all these kinds of animals, living and dead, in the house.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, and that led to, even when he had his own family, he let them have whatever animal they wanted.
Which is pretty cool. It's kind of a Dr. Dolittle.
They were said to have like 15 animals at a time.
And as a kid, I mean, that started when he was a kid, just his love of animals. Like he would, like if he saw a roadkill, he would like pick it up and, there was a story in the book about he saw a dead seal in the market and he became obsessed with it. And was like, went back every day and took measurements and just, real serial killer
Here
stuff.
to see the seal again, Theo?
Yeah.
It's back there.
Yeah. The seal. I love the seal.
I want to grow up one day to look kind of like a walrus.
He definitely looks like a walrus.
And then he went back eventually. He's like, I need the skull. He's like, sure. And so he got the skull of the seal to put.
Also, is your daughter single?
No, Theo, take
Get
the
outta here.
skull.
Take the skull and get out of here. He didn't really have a lot of interest in women. It was mainly animals dead and alive. Like he wanted to found like this museum of natural history. And his family took him on trips to Europe and Egypt. And like he had ibises and other kind of weird animal remains. But like there's living animals scurrying around the house. There's gophers. There's a woodchuck that he made his servant boil for 24 hours to, quote, sterilize it. I think that's
Alive?
how you...
He lobstered the woodchuck?
No, I think he just made a hot dog out of that thing. I mean, boiling for 24 hours doesn't seem like you're preserving it. It seems like you're melting it down into a, Springfield leg of the tour Lincoln.
Can you imagine being that
status.
servant? You want me to do what?
She threatened to quit.
Oh, really?
She was like, "It's me or the woodchuck." All right,
Was it
I can't chuck any more wood. Okay,
I can't chuck this thing to a pot of boiling water.
I have
kid.
reached my limit with the woodchuck. They got a cow in there, and you know how cows can't go downstairs? So they had to drug the cow, blindfold it, and drag it out. Because it just had...
But it got upstairs. They brought a
Cows
cow
can go
upstairs.
Cows
yeah,
can
but I
go
mean, the fact that they were like, I wonder if a cow, every time you get upstairs, is like, oh, I always do this.
Why?
I forgot. I'm so terrified of going back down. It's just so exciting to see what's up.
Yeah.
You can't go down.
Isn't that what the humans mean when they say, what's up? I want to know.
I want to know what's up.
I want to know what's up.
Oh, man.
So Teddy is weird as a kid, and Elliott's more normal. He's handsome. All the ladies love him.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a playboy.
He's a looker.
He is still there. So it seems like they're both competitive. They're both in sports. Theo eventually passes him in being a little bit more athletic because his dad's solution to asthma and all their physical problems was strenuous exercise. And then when Theo surpasses Elliott, Elliott is still a better academic student.
Really?
So he's cute. He's academically inclined. He's got seizures, a little mysterious for the ladies. What's happening right now? He's biting his own tongue. That's pretty fucking hot. He's a masochist.
Wonder what would happen if his hand was around me when he had one of those seizures.
Yeah, vibrate.
Yeah.
Shake me like a jar of pickles, that boy. That's what I want him to do to me.
Do you shake pickles?
I just tried to think of what they had in jars back then.
All right. I was at a show and this woman was in the front row shaking it was like a BYOB show. So she was shaking an ice-filled White Claw thing. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, let's wait till the show starts to shake the ice. And she's like, I don't like the carbonation. And I'm like,
so you're trying to rid the carbonation?
Yeah, she was trying to shake out the bubbles. It was crazy. But so Elliott's
also,
shaking.
If you don't like the carbonation, get a Capri Sun and a little bit of hotel vodka. And
that's
what
the
is
move.
Your problem, lady?
That's a good move.
Or go get a flat. I mean, you're
Chucky'sRecipes.org will get you drunk if you want to go to chuckiesrecipes.org. So Elliott's shaking, he's quaking, he's making the ladies wet and wild. They seem to be on the same path.
Yes.
In terms of ambition, drive, intelligence, everything is seemingly neck and neck.
And then we get to his teens. Somehow, one way or another, my guess is that it's a bunch of rich kids. They're all socialites.
Yeah.
They're all rich.
I know where you're going with this.
They're all rich little kids. They're all hanging out, taking their dad's alcohol at
They
night.
find a bottle, they
Yep.
go take a sip.
And then
They're all in a circle.
Elliot's with the Astors and all the other big families in
Yep.
New York. They're all in a circle.
The canal streets.
Yeah. Mr. Chinatown.
The unions. Yeah, sure.
Sheila Flatiron. And
The vessels.
Calamitous Harlem.
The Towers twin.
Yeah.
The Tower twins.
What else is there? The Madison
The
Square
Empires.
Garden,
I think
hyphen
the
last
Madison
name.
could have actually been a real family.
Mike 34th Street.
Yep. So they're all hanging out. They're
They're all
drinking. They're in a
hanging out.
circle.
And then they're drinking. They're getting a little drunk. Theo probably barges in, being the goody two-shoes. Goes, you shouldn't be doing that. He's got
Stop
a
drinking.
walrus skull in his hand.
Yeah.
And they're like, get out of here, Theo. Get your fucking animal carcass and get out. Got his inhaler. Because he seemed like a big goody two-shoes. He seems like a big Eagle Scout.
Oh, yeah.
Big chastity belt.
Yeah.
Eagle
Locking it
Scout.
up every night.
Maybe doesn't even...
Stay in there.
Yeah. Has milk for dessert if he's feeling crazy. Just a big square. Ultimately made the square deal because he's a big square.
Oh, yeah.
And this is maybe where you find out Elliott has an addictive personality.
Yeah.
He gets addicted to alcohol.
Starts like we all do.
He's a little
casual.
yeah.
Takes a sip of the demon liquor, goes, I don't mind how this makes me feel.
This feels pretty good.
I feel good. Women, I find them easier to talk to.
Yep.
I'm already hot, so they're kind of drawn to me.
Yep.
This is good.
Yep.
I like this feeling. You know, they go to vacation in Egypt. He tries some Ciroc or whatever they got over there. What?
Yeah, Egypt made Ciroc.
I don't know.
Try my Egyptian Ciroc.
He's getting Egyptian vodka and, Malibu rum.
Yeah, he's at
and
the pyramids of Giza. Sees Diplo. He's taking ecstasy.
he's doing
I love
shots.
this song.
He's doing ice luge shots off the pyramid. It takes a while to get down. It's mostly dust, but he loves it. He loves the ritual.
He becomes a party boy at the same time that Theo's discovering, I want to be a man's man when I grow up.
I want to be a manly man like my dad was.
I want to flee to the west.
and fight for my country and my cause. Roosevelt.
Ooh, the new square deal in the Panama Canal.
He did. He thought he had to be the very best. And he wanted to redeem his padre. Actually, so can we pee quick?
Yeah.
I gotta pee like a racehorse.
Be like a chuck horse.
So we got Venus in the studio, our second producer. There will be a cat on the pod from now on.
Even at the stand,
Even at the stand, we're gonna bring both of them.
Molly thought I didn't have any prior cat knowledge, by the way.
Yeah,
I know. She likes to be like, I'll tell you this. And I'm like, look in here,
I
baby.
know. She likes to generalize.
Generalize Chucky's brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't know shit. No, I'm kidding. She's great. She's assumptive.
We were listening to this podcast about the remilitarization of Germany, and as soon as a guy's German voice came up, like the German premier, like Ich von Steinen, she's like, I'm like, give him a chance, okay?
What? Oh, was he?
She
a
was
good
triggered
guy?
by the German voice. Yeah, no, he's just the current premier of Germany, being like, we're gonna help Ukraine, and people are the whole point of the podcast was they're more afraid of no Germany than they are of military Germany. They're like, you're an economic powerhouse in Europe. You should be contributing to the global causes.
And if you're
such
not,
as the
what
war
are you
against
doing internally?
Yeah. You can't be Switzerland because you have enough power.
Ooh.
But it's so funny because Germany for so long has been like, whatever you guys want, no military. We don't. All of our boats have holes and our helicopters have no blades. See, the guns have no bullets and they're made of Legos.
Try a strudel.
Is it cake? It's all cake. Our whole military is cake. So it's okay now. But now people are like, what are you guys doing? They're like, yeah, we'll fight for you, whatever you want. So that's German history in a nutshell. Oh, look at this cat, dude. Perfect little kitty. Venus went viral. Cupid sent me a... Sorry, we're going to take a brief break from the history to just
Welcome to
admire this.
Venus Corner.
Welcome to the Pussy Palace. Cupid said, my roommate, that Venus went viral. Like a video of her going to a cat chiropractor. It has like 1 million views. And I assumed it was going to be like a 1-minute video. He sent me a 15-minute video. And it has an intro, and it's like, I'm not watching. Send me the highlights here. I don't care.
Really? So she got cracked?
She got cracked. I didn't even hear it because it was...
Oh, he came here?
No. This was before I had met him.
Did she have claws?
She got claws.
Oh, there they are.
She's very sweet, though. She really won't hurt you unless she absolutely must.
That's a funny.
Meanwhile, you have a scratch on your neck like you're having rough sex with Ricky.
She realizes that
Ricky Ticky Tambo.
she's now aware of her pain abilities.
Good.
So she only does them out when she wants to play, and then if I'm like, Rick, she like retracts them, and she's like, eh. And she talks now. She didn't meow for like 2-3 weeks.
I'm glad you guys are reconciling.
Yeah, reconciling.
That's good. All right.
So
Let's get back into Elliott.
The brothers their lives take very different paths.
Yes.
And
eventually,
but they both end up in the West, and they both love going to the West.
Well,
and hunting.
yes. They both. I think Elliott's a little more pushed out of the house. Just like go fucking hunt in the West. You need to hardy up your constitution. I'm sending you out west. So the dad sends him on like a pseudo voluntary hunting expedition.
Yeah, it's like we still had the seizure problem, and I think by the time that now they're in their teens, and I think Theo had kind of beaten asthma a little bit with being athletic, and then the dad's like, "Look, you're still seizing up. The cure is man shit. So I'm sending you to Texas.
Go kill a bison.
Yeah, that'll cure your seizures.
That'll cure the shakes.
Okay, go get bit by a beaver, boy." That's how we talked. So he goes, "Look, I'm sending you to Texas. I'm sending you to Camp McAfee, the antivirus camp." And he goes.
They were very persistent in sending letters. Hey, you're overdue. You need to renew your Camp McAfee.
The most persistent reminders are always from McAfee.
And that's how they get you. On this hunting trip in Texas, he's like going around Texas, and he meets this guy, which is not great for his alcoholism, named Andrew Jameson of Irish whiskey fortune and fame. And this guy's bringing some of his family hooch with him.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way.
He's probably got a wagon full of hooch.
Yeah.
Full of cahoots.
Cahooch.
And he's like, "Hey, buddy, you drink?" And he's like, "Boy, do I."
Do I drink? What do you got? He's like, maybe
we have a wagon full of whiskey. And he's like, and Jameson's like, "Hey, what are you doing here in Texas?" And he's like, "My dad sent me to Camp McAfee to hunt." And he goes, "How about you
sober up?"
Yeah, to become a man and get rid of my seizures.
Yeah.
And he goes, "We're gonna go off on some wild, across Texas and hunt bison and do whatever the hell we want. How about you come with us for a little bit?"
Yeah, he meets Jameson and these other young, probably Australians who are waiters who are just, going on a year-long vacation because they can with their salary.
Yeah, a little gap year.
Yeah, so you always run across Australians when you're traveling internationally.
Yeah, you do. They're everywhere.
Just run into some Aussies. So I think they met some Aussies down in Texas. And they go on this hunting trip. Elliott almost dies.
Yeah, bison almost kills him.
Bison charges him.
Yeah, I guess.
Shoots him in the leg, hits short of him, and just like...
Yeah, apparently he fell right at his feet.
Yeah, that's
seems like Elliott wrote that story.
Yeah.
Seems like maybe he was seizing up and accidentally pulled the trigger. I don't know if it was really him.
Maybe he just seized up early on, and they woke him up, and they're like, "You did it!
Whoa!
You scored a touchdown! Oh my God, how good does this feel?"
And the biggest thing that happened is while Jameson and Roosevelt and Mr. Empire State were out hunting bison one day in Texas, some robbers of some
horse thieves
come in and they steal all of their horses.
Yep.
So then they get back and they realize...
The guys who were crucified next to Jesus come back for their revenge.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about those guys coming back from the dead, but they did, baby. And they stole...
Everybody came back.
Everybody who was crucified that day came back. And they came back to abscond with Elliott and Andrew's horses.
Which I feel like when you come back from a day of hunting, that had to be probably the worst version of, I think I parked my car right here. Right, guys? My horses were right
Instead
here.
Of beeping the keys, you're like...
Yeah.
Fuck. Was it that tree?
Holding up a sugar cube.
Just, anyone hear a whinny?
Ah, fuck.
A neigh?
There's a note. Oh, no.
Oh, God. So it was either the guys who were killed with Jesus, other buffalo hunters who needed more horses,
We wanted a thrill.
or Comanches.
Yeah. I bet it was Comanches.
You son of a
Texas
bitch.
Comanches, not to stereotype.
Could have been. I mean, they were horse masters. It's funny, though, because they didn't start with horses. Horses were brought over by the Spanish, I think.
Whoa.
And then Comanches mastered them.
Wow.
Which is just proving that the people who were here deserved it more than we did.
Yeah.
For sure. Imagine never seeing a horse and then being better at it than the people who came with it. You show up with a skateboard to a skate park, and a guy just sitting on a bench is like, "Can I try?"
Yeah, it does a
Drops in, does a dark slide, kick flip. He's like, "How? You like them apples?" All right, so they had to walk
This
back.
is how much they had to walk.
You're going to be really surprised by this number of miles.
Because it should have killed them all.
Not 127 hours, 140 miles. They
How
had
do you
to-
walk 140 miles and not die?
Well-
do you feel like that's exaggerated?
You got to think you were drunk for most of it.
Oh, yeah. But they said they barely had any water.
Well, they had
Excuse
a lot of
me.
whiskey. I don't know. They barely had any water?
Yeah, they said like water was scarce.
I think they were probably delusional by the end. It is crazy that they and there was a funny little footnote, like they got back to city, they got back to town, I guess. It's always back to town, but if you say any other thing, it doesn't make sense. I got into town versus like I got into city.
We can say I got into the city.
Right, but you don't have to say the town.
Yeah, I got it back. Yeah, back into town.
Came back to village. It's weird. Town,
Society.
you don't need the.
Got back to society.
Society,
Civilization.
civilized life. On George Washington's birthday is when they arrived back in town.
Back in time to celebrate.
Yep, they had to.
You guys are here.
We
come
gotta
on.
make it back.
GW's BD.
Is holding up a cake that they resisted not eating. I saved it the whole time. I was so hungry.
We put it in the world's first freezer as soon as you guys left. You said you'd be back today.
Developed using the technology they used to cart Lincoln across the country without fully decomposing.
They probably just salted Lincoln.
Yeah, he was probably a big old salty piece of human meat.
So he goes to Texas. He becomes a man. He walks 140 miles. And
They
maybe,
probably drink their own piss.
yeah, drink some whiskey.
Even
drink
though
your
Bear
piss.
Grylls wasn't there to tell them they could, they probably thought, I've always thought about it. And if you're a drinker, you're like, come on.
Yeah, do it.
Do it.
Mix it with the whiskey.
Fucking do it.
It'll be our new favorite drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you
Recycled whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah, what could be a name of it?
Pisky.
Pisky, the Irish Pisky. Adios,
Pisky.
motherfucker. What's the,
Adios, motherfucker's funny.
that's a drink.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
it's
was
like
like,
a-
it had to be something.
The Texas piss bomb. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say the Texas No Horse.
Yeah, that's good.
Horse Thieves Revenge. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
Comanche's
Revenge.
Comanche's Revenge. Yeah, it's drinking your own piss while walking stranded in the desert. That's Comanche's Revenge.
Yeah, there's Montezuma's Revenge, and then there's Comanche's Revenge.
You got Sue's Vengeance. You got the Chippewa Retaliation.
All good drinks, really.
All good stuff. I mean,
you got a good
it'll
palate.
get you where you need to go, if you know what I'm saying.
You get pretty wasted.
Yeah. So he gets back. Thank you, Venus, for getting us back on track. Elliott gets back. He's like, Dad, that was awful. He's like, are you a man, though? Yeah.
When was the last time you seized up, bro?
He's just trying to be like, look, anxiety is a white man's illusion. So are seizures. You don't have it, okay? If you had a real problem, some kind of actual struggle that you had to overcome, you wouldn't start shaking because of your, manufactured malaise. Or what do they call it when melancholy?
Melancholy.
Because of your bitch-ass lady melancholy.
Yeah.
Look at your brother.
He overcame asthma with a couple of push-ups.
So he gets back. The dad dies, much like mine, of cancer in college.
And apparently oh, wow.
Dude, watch out, man.
Yeah,
42,
you might be the
I'm
next-
going to lead this country to greatness.
Well, I feel sorry for your brother.
Into war. Well, yeah, I mean, if he's got to go, he's got to go.
You're going to make the Zackanaw Canal.
All right, so you take over. What do we got? Tell me about Poppy Roosevelt.
So Poppy Roosevelt, this is, I think, the most...
Tell me about Poppy.
Papi Rossi. Papi Rossi.
Roosevelt.
Papi.
¿Qué pasó to Papi Roosevelt?
So Papi Roosevelt...
Not many people knew that he was from New York, but he was also Puerto Rican.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Something you may not know about Theodore and Elliott Roosevelt was they had the sharpest of lines. The sharpest of lines.
So Poppy Roosevelt, their whole lives, was a strong, healthy man.
Strong, independent white man.
They get to college. They go to Harvard. Does Elliot go to
Nope.
Harvard?
Nope.
Elliot doesn't go to... Theodoro.
Theodoro.
He goes to Harvard. He spends 2 years in Harvard. His dad gets cancer. He passes away.
Yes.
This is very impactful because
pride.
Of pride.
Yes. It's a prideful tumor that grew too fast.
So this
his heart.
This is huge. This is the first extremely impactful thing in both of their lives, and they both go different ways because
they both get a big payout from Papi Roosevelt.
And what happens is
Elliott.
they both get
Two
a
L's.
big fortune.
Big fortuna.
Now, Theodore T.R. Roosevelt's at Harvard being a big nerd animal guy.
But he's got deep pockets.
Now he's got deep pockets.
He smells of arsenic, by the way.
Why?
Because he's preserving all these animals.
Ew.
So it's noted, like it's in the books
This is
that
not
there's a
formaldehyde.
faint. I mean, it's a small leap from arsenic to formaldehyde. I feel arsenic can't smell good. It's gonna be like acrid preservative.
Yeah, but
like a
formaldehyde.
morgue. Do you know what that smells like?
Yeah, in high school. You ever open the frog?
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't have a smell memory of it right now. But
Oh, man.
yeah, so he's weird, but he's at least buying people drinks. So he's making friends.
Now he's popular.
He's charismatic.
Before
he's
he was
weird,
arsenic
he's
walrus
rich.
boy.
Right.
Now he's rich walrus boy.
Yeah. Yes.
Big promotion. He's throwing
Slap
parties.
a monocle and a top hat on that walrus. You got Mr. Monopoly Man
And now he's making
flopping in.
He's also now he's making the alliances that his brother probably already made from being a cool hot boy.
Right.
So
Finally forging those friendships.
Theo's life is changing for the better. We got parties, we got socialite, he's meeting ladies, a
Harvard,
couple.
that's where the big
Harvard,
life-changing connections,
He
world-changing connections.
meets love
are
of his
made.
life. Elliott
Yeah.
gets the fortune, goes sort of the way that a rich aristocrat of New York, just a rich person in general with no direction is going to go.
Yeah, he goes and hunts some aristocrats.
He goes to India to hunt tigers. So he goes to India, he hunts big tigers, he meets the guy from Jimmy John's, they go on a big excursion, and
Yeah.
then he just starts, he falls in love.
He starts the tradition of singing the Star Spangled Banner in India once you kill a tiger. That was passed down, and then Charles witnessed that. You probably witnessed a Roosevelt descendant right there.
Me?
Yeah, he might have made some babies. Elliott was fucking around, which we're going to get to.
Oh, yeah.
He could have fucked around in India.
Definitely.
Made a little Roosevelt patriot who made his way over to
Yeah,
America.
rolled around the spice.
Ended up in Chowderfest.
Is it funny to say Chowderfest? Is it hack to say Chowderfest sounds like exactly what you do after you to celebrate storming the Capitol?
It's somewhat
It's kinda
amusing.
hack.
Yeah. Yeah, so Elliott goes tiger hunting, and that's really it. He's just like upping the hunting ante.
Yeah, now he's rich and he can hunt more exotic animals.
Yeah, but he doesn't have this ambition, whereas Theodore is very ambitious, and he starts to get into politics. Which is something that the rich people of his ilk are like, what are you doing?
Yeah, we don't do that.
What are you,
It's
some
for
kind of
nerds.
hard scrabble Irish immigrant trying to make your life? You have a life. Why are you trying to do this other thing?
And this is where he's staying true to who he is. He's not being influenced by other people of
Teddy?
money and power. He's like, look, this is my direction.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Elliott's still over there in India getting wasted hunting tigers.
Yep, getting sauced on Bombay. And Bombay Sapphire, missing tigers, seizing up. You know, his caddy has to shoot it for him and mark that he killed it. And then he, comes back from his hunting trips. He ends up meeting and marrying this debutante, Anna Hall, very pretty. Do you know what a debutante is?
Is it like a fashion person?
It's,
like a beauty pageant person?
Kind of. A debutante ball, like debut is in the name. It was when the women would be debuted as women. So like a debutante ball would be like, my daughter's fuckable now.
Whoa.
Eligible for she's on the meat market.
She is penetrable, boys.
She's penetrable.
So
my
who's gonna
daughter
get in
is
there?
starting now, penetrable. Boys, start your engines.
Look, cousins, you got first dibs.
Yeah.
But
yeah. We are now boarding cousins and family members. Priority boarding for my daughter's hand in marriage and uterus. Yeah, she's a little feisty now.
she's a little spicy right now.
Yeah, you gotta not pet her. So they had 3 kids: Eleanor Roosevelt, Elliott Jr., who unfortunately died pretty early, and this other guy, Hall. Eleanor, not a looker.
No. And the mom didn't like her for that.
Reputedly.
Yeah, which is kind of rude that they did this.
But that's what rich people do.
I know.
They nitpick. Anyway, so Eleanor, not very attractive, which, that's kind of important because the support that Eleanor gets is from her father.
Only from the dad.
The mom is like, ugh.
The mom's
dud.
like, oh, you got a weird nose and a small mouth. I mean, I would love you, but ew.
Guess you're not my real daughter.
And And apparently the
kinda
Elliott
what
was
she
like,
thought.
but she has beautiful eyes.
Yeah.
So he was a little romantic.
He's like, no,
and-
she is hot.
Yeah, you got to look at her eyes.
Just look at her eyes.
It's like when you see a dog with the paws. She's got potential. Look at these
Right.
big paws.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
big, beautiful blue eyes.
Deep blue pools.
So Eleanor, who later becomes, first lady, and a weird first lady, is very distant, but she receives all this love from Elliott.
Yeah.
Who's still,
At
we,
first.
we got to remind you, this guy's probably wasted for a lot of this.
Pretty easy to be loving when you're wasted.
Yeah.
You love everybody.
Yeah. And for a kid to see someone who's in the love phase of being drunk, she's probably like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't know what's happening.
Yeah. My dad loves me.
My dad loves me and throws up. He loves me so much. My
loves
dad doesn't
me
love me
so
so much,
much.
he throws up.
He falls asleep in his own piss.
Crazy.
That's how much he loves me. He's literally overflowing with love.
yeah.
And speaking of, drunken love, he starts being a little too friendly.
Oh, with the chambermaid.
With the chambermaid.
What is a chambermaid?
I
didn't
think
look
they
this
throw
up.
the piss pot out the window.
Okay.
I
Doing
think
the-
that's traditionally what a chambermaid was. I think it was someone who's like in the bathroom with you and wipes your bum bum.
Ugh, imagine leaving your house and out the window, you're like, that's my piss.
Was that just up there? I could have sworn I got rid of that. So yeah, he's
He starts getting a little,
he's cozying up to the chambermaid,
This
and he's
little lady from Germany.
Katie Mann.
Katie, man, he starts it by stopping by at night.
Yep.
He's talking before bed.
Sure, harmless at first.
What's up? Where you from? What's your sign, Katie?
Yeah.
You
Give me
German?
crackers or bread to absorb the alcohol.
Yeah.
And she's like, I do piss and piss only. Okay, I don't have any snacks.
And Katie's there because her family sends her to America to just live a good life, do what you can, as long as you get a little house with a garden.
Yep.
That's their last
That's
thing.
the dream.
And now she's there throwing this guy's piss out the window, has gone out the window, and then he starts cozying up, this really rich guy. I mean, she falls in love with him. Can you blame her?
No, he's rich, he's hot, he's charming.
He's drunk.
He smells of whiskey. I mean, what's not to love?
He's telling her that they're going to get married in secret.
He calls her his spirit wife.
Which is very funny to me. That he's like, you're my spirit wife because nobody will ever see you. Like a spirit, Katie?
Only I can see you.
Nobody will ever see you, right, spirit wife?
Spirit wife. I mean, that's the cheapest wife.
That's
At least maybe a Delta wife or United. Sorry.
that spirit takes forever to get here.
Sorry. Yeah.
A lot of delays.
Yeah. But so poor Katie kind of falls for this, like the love drunk ramblings of a rich guy
Yeah.
who's just kind of a playboy, I guess.
They have a little bit of intercourse.
A little bit of intercourse.
And so they're having some intercourse, and now, does the wife, they go to Europe, but is it because the wife finds out about
The
this?
wife finds out.
The wife finds out about the spirit wife.
Yes. It turns out she can see her too. Yeah, it's not a foolproof plan. He drunkenly came up with this theory that only he could see her.
And she's like, hey, what about Katie? And he's like, who is Katie?
Who is that? Are you hearing things again? God, everyone in this family's mentally ill.
I'm gonna send you to Texas.
So she's like, we are moving to Europe. We are escaping this ghost. It's clearly the house is haunted. We got to get out of here. Your spirit wife is starting to freak me out. So they move to Europe. I think they try to repair their relations. They do the best they can. They escape with the kids, whatever. Leaving Katie, to her own devices, out of a job. To her own devices, as if she had any devices.
She had no devices.
That assumes you have devices.
Yeah, she had nothing.
She had nothing.
She was very,
no
now
gadgets, no
she's
watches,
jobless in
no
New York.
metronomes,
Yeah, no metronomes, no abacus,
no levels,
no bicycle. And it turns out, surprise, surprise, Katie didn't have a device, but she did have a bun in her oven.
She did.
Which, by the way, Heather's becoming like a hormone person for like a new career path. It's so hard to get pregnant.
For some.
Well, even
I know what you mean.
like
I'm coming in, my lady, no birth control, and we're just doing the time and the cycles.
yeah,
Like
well,
Heather
even
does, right?
There's so much. Even if you're stressed,
Yeah.
your body will not let you get pregnant.
Really?
If you have like a stressful job, it's your body interprets.
It's not good for the baby.
It is. Yeah.
We don't want stress.
They go. We can't. Stress means the outside is a bad life. So the body goes shut down the cycle this
Damn.
person's stress, and we're not letting a baby come into stress.
Take that, Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Aha.
So if you're stressed, which this maid probably was,
Sure.
she still got pregnant.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It was a miracle that she got pregnant.
Well, those Roosevelts, they're an ambitious bunch.
Yeah, that's true. That sperm was
They,
probably.
they're swimming
I
far.
don't know. Elliott's sperm.
Yeah,
probably.
dude. I mean, they were trained by Senior. But regardless of whether it was the chicken or the egg, sperm or the egg, I don't know whose fault it was. I guess both people. I don't know what I'm saying. But
You telling me it's two people? It takes two to pregno?
takes two. It takes two to prego. All right, so Katie's pregnant, and the way that the Roosevelts find out about this, because like Katie's trying to write letters to,
But these guys are backpacking across Europe.
right? They're on the run from Katie's letters.
Yeah.
So Katie's sending letters. How are you? I have
Like
a
Katie's
kid.
letter.
What's up? Are you up?
P.S.
I'm pregnant.
What do I name our child?
Yeah. Hope you're well. And the letters aren't really getting to Elliott because he's here, he's there. His wife's like the uncle in Harry Potter. He's just
Yeah.
throwing those letters
Yeah,
away. They keep
yeah.
coming. She's sending pregnancy tests. She sends an owl with a stick that she peed on. He can't escape it. But finally, what tips the Roosevelts off to this bastard offspring, this demon spawn, is lawyers.
Yo, Katie has the baby.
Katie, right.
And
Katie
then
has
she-
the baby.
And Katie goes, that's
She's like,
enough
I'm going to
proof.
get mine. I need some alimony.
Yeah.
Right. This is proof enough that
Yeah.
that Elliott
This
was
thing
once
looks like a Roosevelt.
inside me.
And this is all happening while Katie is broke, living in like a studio apartment in shitty...
a tenement.
Yeah, I mean,
She wishes it was
it's
a studio
basically a
apartment.
jail cell she's living in.
It's like a bunk bed with it's like you're in camp with criminals.
Yeah.
AKA immigrants. Irish and Italian
Build a wall.
on the eastern seaboard. Please. On the Atlantic. We need
She's
an
like,
Atlantic
look,
wall.
she's not a bad person, and she's also like, look, I wouldn't make a fuss about this if I had money.
I wouldn't make a fuss.
There's no fuss.
Not
no
trying
muss,
to,
no fuss.
Not trying to rock the boat
but
here.
I do not have absolutely no money in a newborn child.
I have zero money and a baby.
So I'm going to go ahead and take the number off the billboard and call Celino and Barnes here.
Yeah, except in this case it was Howe and Hummel
Lawyers best known for defending prostitutes
and saloon keepers. I wonder how she found these people, because she's living in a tenement building, which if you've seen the pictures, it's like people are in it's like how pirates live. It's like people in hammocks. There's families stacked on top of each other. It's intergenerational, like a totem pole.
everybody's throwing their own piss pots out the window.
Yeah, you don't have a. That's you
don't have a
don't
pot
even
to
have a
piss
pot
in.
to piss in, because someone needs it to cook.
God.
You know, you got one pot.
You know, with that pot, I got to cook.
One pot solution. Yeah, so I'm wondering. I mean, maybe she was like staying with a lady of the night or something, or like saw a newspaper. Like, are you a lady of the night? Do you work the street corners? Have you have you been exposed to semen from one of your clients, resulting in a child? You may be entitled to financial compensation.
Call the offices of
Howe and Hummel. Telegram the offices of Howe and Hummel, and we'll get you your due.
Howe and Hummel. There is another way you can pay.
So she tries to take Theo to small claims court. Not really. Like she
Claim your son, please.
Yeah. The lawyers like go to Theo, and this is where it all starts going to shit.
And this is at this point. So now we've been talking about Elliott. He's off,
Yes.
living his life.
Yes, we
Theo
have.
has been climbing the political ranks.
Ooh, he's been climbing.
He's thinking up next is presidency.
Oh yeah.
I'm gunning for the presidency. He's done all this stuff. We don't need to talk about it.
Well, by the way, just in Theo's life, because he had some tragedies too. On Valentine's Day, several years after their father died, his wife and his mom died on the same day.
Yeah.
And he wrote, like, the light has left my life. Very sad.
He was obsessed with his wife.
He loved his
No
wife.
chambermaid.
Yes.
No, it was like he said, like
No, he loved his wife very much.
Yeah, I've never loved anybody. I'll never love anybody. He says like every day I fall more in love with her.
Yeah, it's brutal.
She had Bright's
I mean,
disease?
he's an intense guy. Yeah, Bright's disease.
I don't know what that is.
It's a kidney
It was
disease. Kidney
Okay.
disease. So she has to get. So Theo, and I want to read this quote real quick. It's Theo is this quote: "Black care rarely sits behind a rider whose pace is fast enough." So whereas Elliott might have tried to drown his sorrows after his father's death or his son Elliott Jr.'s death with booze or tiger pelts, or pussy of his in his employ, whatever it was. Theo was just trying to outrun it, out ambition it, just achieve. Which is, I feel like, how a lot of people make it into history. They're just running from something. So, yeah, this whole time, Theo's been like, oh, now you want to be pet, Venus? Theo's been, our producer needs pets. Theo's been, he's just like an unstoppable force. He's trying to become president. He wants to just go as high as he can. And one thing that's very important to him, kind of going back to this toxic masculinity view of his dad not fighting in the war, Theo is like, look, that's the one stain on my dad's reputation. I need to fight in a war to atone for my dad being a big old wuss, being a wimpo, if you will, a lemon-bellied candy ass, a yellow-bellied. Sorry,
there we go.
Yellow
lemon
What's
belly.
a lemon belly?
I don't know.
That's pretty close.
I thought a lemon head.
Yeah, lemon-headed, yellow-bellied, candy-ass dad who just collected money from soldiers. He wanted to fight. So one thing that Theo did, while Elliott's, boozing it up and whoring around, Theo becomes the assistant to the naval secretary and basically convinces, who is it, McKinley?
Yeah.
Convinces McKinley to enter into the Spanish-American War. He puts the American in the Spanish-American War. I'm not really sure what the war is all about. I know that a U.S. battleship was blown up in a harbor in Havana. Something happened in Cuba. So regardless, Theo basically lays the seeds for this war to get started. And then once the U.S. declares war, basically the next day, Theo's like, I quit my job. I'm joining the war. He rounds up a regiment that's known as the Rough Riders. He has, and he just goes for his own personal glory. So he kind of starts a war so that he can participate in the war. He goes to San Juan, charges up a hill on horseback. It's his Iwo Jima moment.
Everybody else dies but him.
Everyone dies next to him, and strangely...
Talk about manifest destiny, though. I mean, at that point, you got to be like, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I visualize this. Yeah, I mean...
I visualized everybody but me getting massacred.
Yeah.
And now I'm off. And then he, leaves the war.
Yeah, then he goes
He's
back.
like, Dad's proud. Bye.
And this is where I think of Theo kind of as just like a billionaire with a checklist. Theo would have been the sixth guy on the Titan. You know what I mean? He's like a Boy Scout trying to earn some badges. He has some ideas of what he needs to accomplish. And it's like this rich privilege, like, yeah, I want to fight in a war. I think that'd be good to do.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good thing to do in my life, having fought in a war. Proving my mettle. I've never felt anything about my mettle. Need to prove it or otherwise.
Yeah, I can't. It's such a preposterous... Well, I think when you live such a cushy life, you're like, yeah, I want some violence. He also just wanted to be about the people that he be like the people he read about.
Yeah.
He's like, what does a real man do?
Yeah. And so he went to this war that he started, and then he came back, wrote a memoir, mythologizing himself as this larger-than-life war hero, and that's what he became.
Yep.
So, the bridge is forming as he's stepping out over the cliff of his own life, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So basically the vibe at this point is Teddy's like, I'm unstoppable. I'm fucking Railroad Roosevelt, baby. You can't stop me.
Choo-choo.
Choo-choo, motherfucker. I'll kill you. That's the vibe. And he would have if he could have with Katie Mann.
Oh, yeah, he would have.
He's like, I'd never hit a woman, but I'd hit a man.
Yeah. So now he's on his way. He's skyrocketing. He gets a knock on his door by...
right, so now we're back
Howes
to
and
H&H, Howe and Hummel.
They go, you Teddy Roosevelt?
Yeah.
He goes, you got to ask?
You got to ask? Yeah, of course I am.
Yeah. How tall was Teddy?
Teddy, what's up, man? It's all good. My roommate Cupid has arrived. Venus is in the producer's throne.
I see she's producing.
Oh, yeah, she's doing a lot of work. Teddy. Yeah, get out of here. Venus's true owner is back. Okay,
So
hit me.
They gotta go. You go, you Teddy Roosevelt? He goes, you gotta ask. And they go, you got a brother, Elliott, over in India, over in Europe? And he
Yep.
goes, yeah. And he goes, he left something in America before he...
What, like earrings?
Guess again.
Necklace?
Keep guessing.
I don't know.
An illegitimate son.
Oh,
A spirit son. You heard you know the term. And he goes, I don't believe you. And then they go, well, that's the case, and we're here to collect.
Yes.
And he goes, I'm Teddy Roosevelt. I'm going to hire a PI
Yeah.
who specializes in, what'd you say?
Baby investigations.
PI.
Basically, they hire like Maury.
Yeah.
Yeah, the PIBGYN.
Yeah, the BIPI.
The PII, the private infant investigator.
Yeah.
To go check out this baby's face and see if it matches up with the Roosevelt face who hired him.
Yeah, and this guy goes, look, I'll go down there, I'll look at the newborns.
I'll go down there, I'll take a peek, I'll look at you, look at him. It's pretty official science.
Yeah.
This is like before handwriting experts. It's like, yeah, I'm the baby face matcher.
Yeah. Very lucrative. It's kind of like a psychic. Only a few of us are born with the
gift. If you
gift.
need to know whether this bastard kid's something you need to worry about, you call me.
Just women lining up with their babies. Not his. Not his. That's
Yep.
his is yours.
It's like the airport security.
Yeah.
Like the bag goes to the baby goes into a different line.
So he goes down there. He takes a look at infant man. He calls Teddy Roosevelt on the newly invented
baby man.
telephone, and he goes, "Hey, this baby's yours. It
Yeah.
looks just like you." And Teddy Roosevelt goes, "How can you tell?" And he goes, "It's got tiny glasses and a little mustache. This baby it looks like the Pringle boy."
Huge teeth.
Yeah. And Teddy's still fed
Teddy's
up.
like, I don't believe it. He's
Yeah.
like, well, you hired me, and this is my
Yeah.
only job. So I did my
You're
job.
still gonna pay me, right?
Yeah, click.
And then Teddy goes, "You know what? I was in the trenches."
I've seen enough babies
Yeah.
to know my own.
So he rides a camel or whatever, goes down there.
Yep.
And he
Assembles
sees
his
the baby,
Rough Riders.
and he's like,
Fuck. It is mine.
That is
And he's
definitely a pair of tiny glasses and a mustache.
Oh, yeah.
That is surgically, it's just extra cartilage.
Oh, no. Oh, God. It's the mutant baby with fucking just bone rims. It's like Cubone, that Pokemon. It's just the glasses are already there. But Teddy's used to this. He was a police commissioner.
Yeah, so he's
in New York, and he was doing undercover boss shit. Like he would go in a full trench coat, baseball hat, and he would go around to the notoriously corrupt New York police cops on their beats. He would see no one working.
Yeah.
Everyone flirting. He's like, "Is that Elliott?" And he couldn't find any cops that were actually working. And then when he finally did find a cop who was flirting with a prostitute he was supposed to be arresting or something, he'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "Mind your own business." And then he'd be like, "Aha, I'm your boss."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, no." So Teddy,
Why don't you take a seat?
he really saw himself as this moral authority. He's like, he's not going to stand for corruption. He's going to bust the trusts. When he's president, he's like, we have a duty to civilize these savages. You know what I mean? He's like, he's very like the U.S. I almost said New York, which is basically interchangeable with the U.S. New York City and New York and
Center of the universe.
Center of the universe should be the moral police, the democratic police of the world. Like that, Teddy kind of started that push. And that informs also how he feels about his brother and this illegitimate kid. He thinks this is, talk about his father not serving in the military being a stain. You want to talk stains, baby. This is coffee on the white rug.
Yeah.
This is no good.
So then Theo goes, "Look, this is my brother's illegitimate baby. I knew my brother was going to screw things up. He's been drunk since he was 16.
Yeah.
As soon as we got the dad's fortune.
I knew when we were all sitting in that circle, he was up to no good.
Yeah,
This
I was
a
busy
slippery
making.
slope.
I was making a porcupine smile with my taxidermy. He was getting wasted with Jameson. All right, this was bound to happen.
I was stuffing beaver, and so was he in a way. But I knew that mine was more upstanding. That my cause was nobler.
My beaver was I had a better beav.
I had a better beef.
And he goes, "Look, my brother's in Europe. I'm going to make sure he does not come back to America
Yeah.
and ruin my reputation to become president."
Right.
He writes to his sister and he goes,
Bammy.
"This is Bammy."
He goes,
or-
"Hi, bye.
Yeah, he goes, "This is a perfect nightmare."
Aloha.
Of course he did this. So he gets him somehow to agree to go to like a mental institution while Elliott's in Europe.
Yes, Elliott voluntarily.
Is like-
first of all, real quick, Katie is very compliant with
Yeah.
all of this. Theo goes to check out the baby. Katie's there. She's like, "This is my baby." He's like, "I can see it." And then he's like, "How are we going to work this out?" She's like, "I need some money,
Yeah.
diapers, formula. I live in a slum. Need some money. Need some cash." And he's like, "Fine, but you're going to ditch these lawyers. These guys are no good. They're covered in glitter from their previous clients. So we're going to use my guy. His name's Weeks. And she's like, fine, whatever. Just give me some money. I'll never reveal that we're related in any way.
Right here is where if she,
Yada, yada,
you
yada.
can't blame her, but she should have been like, give me the money now and I'll shut up forever.
Right.
Give me the money.
Yeah.
Write me a check. No lawyers.
Yeah, let's keep the law out
Teddy
of
and
this.
Katie, straight cash.
Teddy and Katie, hammer it out.
You give me that ostrich you got taxidermied over there?
Yeah,
I'll never say a word. He's like, that's my favorite.
You
I said the ostrich, Teddy.
You bring a woodchuck to the park filled with cash. You drop it in a trash can. I come by, pick it up. We're done. We're done here. He's like, I'm not giving up the woodchuck.
Yeah. That's my best friend.
Yeah. I'm a weird guy.
Yeah. I don't know if you knew this.
Just puts all the cards on the table. I'm a strange person. So, all right. So, yes, back to Europe.
Well, then
Institutionalized.
So with Weeks, though, really quick, the ending with Weeks is Katie accepts, like, fine, I'll go through your lawyer. His
Right.
name's Mr. Weeks.
Yeah,
and Teddy
Biz
goes, I'll
Weeks.
pay Weeks $10,000, which was the equivalent of $500,000, I think.
Quarter to $500,000, yeah.
And then they go, and she goes, perfect, that'll help me out.
Yep.
Weeks is a criminal. He lines
Weeks
his...
go by.
Yeah.
No money is deposited. Months almost.
And Weeks keeps it.
Yep.
And Katie goes, look, I'm not going to make... She's like, whatever. I have to raise my son now. She never says a word.
Yeah,
I feel bad for her.
She stays quiet. Yep. Katie, brought into the light. I feel very bad for you. It sucks what happened and that you were collateral damage.
She regrets coming to America.
That's no good when you're like, I should have stayed in Germany.
Yeah, I shouldn't have followed my... Yeah.
If you're thinking that, it's not a good life.
No,
If you're
it's not the
thinking,
land
I
of
should have
opportunity.
stayed in Germany.
Yeah.
So Weeks takes the money, never gives it to people, and then Teddy learns later, he doesn't do anything to fix this, but he later learns, which is ironic because he was so anti-corruption, that Weeks was corrupt the whole time. He was dealing with these,
All of the
whatever
rich
these
families.
cover-ups,
Yeah.
the cover-up litigation,
Because
and
every rich
whatever.
and powerful family had at least one.
Hat needs you better call Saul.
Yeah.
And Saul is Weeks.
Yeah.
And he would take the money and stay.
Yep.
You got to take the money and run. Mm-hmm. He forgot the last part of the equation.
Well, he was like, I got a good thing going here.
Yeah, but he's an idiot.
He went around all the aristocrats.
Yep.
All the aristocrats and was like, you got a secret? I'll cover that bitch up.
Yo, I'll hide it.
I wonder if that was ultimately his demise. Was somebody was like, hey, I'm not going to stand for this.
It was because
Yeah.
he stayed there. This is right. And okay, so what happened to Weeks is that he ended up getting accused, arrested, convicted of defrauding his clients, and then went to jail. He went to do hard labor in Sing Sing for 10 years.
And where's Sing Sing?
Weeks and weeks and weeks. That was so many weeks. Sing Sing's in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a prison in New York.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to send you up to Sing Sing. You never heard of Sing Sing?
No.
Sounds like a karaoke bar in Koreatown, but no, it's a prison. Yeah, he should have just gotten out of there. You do a few schemes and you run. You don't shit where you eat.
Well, it's New York, though. Where's he going to go? A lot of people thought New York is the place to be.
If you're going to run a racket, you got to go to
where
New
are
York.
you going to go to the West where it's like there's cowboys and stuff like that?
Right. Yeah, Indians, we can give them a few beads and they'll give you gold.
I have a feeling Weeks was probably a frail loser wimp who he probably couldn't tough it out in the Wild West.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of my friend, I think we talked about this on an earlier episode, but you remember my friend, I won't say his name, but
We met him for pizza? I've only met like 2 of your friends.
No, you've never met him.
Okay.
No, this is a childhood friend who stole 23 guitars from my high school
Oh, yeah.
and then tried to sell them at a pawn shop
Yeah.
like 15 minutes away from my high school. And inside the guitar, it said the name of the school. You're going to get caught. Like, that's exactly what... I was impressed that he took 23 guitars
That's
by
crazy.
himself.
Like into a truck or a van?
Yeah, well, I don't know. His dad had a pretty big like Explorer or something.
Okay.
But even getting them out there, like
crazy.
stacking them on a unicycle,
Yeah.
just that feat alone, I think, could have raised him out of his situation if he just showed us how he did it. They would have given him a show. Anyway, so yeah, Weeks is case closed with Weeks. So that's what happens with Katie. Very sad. It's okay. Charles has a wedgie. And we're almost done, folks. But this is the most tragic part of the whole story.
So this is where we start to see the evil of T.R. Rusi.
Yeah, this is where it's like he explicitly says, I'm doing all of this not for the welfare of my brother, but for the reputation of my family.
Ah.
Which, it's, you know.
Yeah, sucks.
So what ends up happening?
So Roosevelt somehow gets Elliott to commit to a little mental institution in Europe. And his family leaves.
Right, he's like, I'll do it.
But apparently the way that he was brought to the mental institution was that he was kidnapped in his house and forcibly brought to the mental institution in front of his beloved daughter, Eleanor.
Yep.
And this traumatized her for life. She only got affection from the dad. And she wrote many letters, and you can look all this up where she's like, my father was taken from me, and I needed more than any other kid needed the love and devotion of their father. And now I had nobody to turn to.
Yeah, they came in, they put a bag over his head. She's like, I've always been worried my mom's going to do that to me. I need my papa. My beer breath loving papa.
Yeah, he loves me so.
Yeah, and that stayed with her for the rest of her life, and that really traumatized them. So they went back to America.
While he's in the institution.
He did a brief stint to humor his brother.
Yep.
He came back. His brother... You said you hadn't seen this movie, but there's a movie called I Care a Lot, which is basically what Theo tries to pull. It's usually considered elder abuse. You do this to like an old person. You have them declared infirm, unable to take care of themselves. You declare them a ward of the state, and then you take over them as a conservatorship, like Britney Spears. Mm-hmm. Like Britney Spears.
Yeah. But he gets back, so Elliott comes back to America. Theo's like, let me be the conservatorship. And Elliott is reviewed by 2 courts.
Yeah. Elliott's like, no, I'm sane.
Yeah. And
I'm not insane. I'm just like...
I'm just a drunk, alcoholic, rich person. I'm a normal person in high society.
Couldn't pull out one time.
Yeah. I mean, even Schwarzenegger had an affair with the maid. It's a thing that happens.
Yeah, Bill Clinton. I mean, look.
Yeah, geez.
Everybody's tasted of the forbidden fruit, you know?
The courts are like, yeah, this guy's mentally stable. He's fine. He's wasted, but he's mentally stable.
Theo's like,
You don't understand.
Yeah.
I need to be the president.
Yeah.
And
do you know what happened to Grover?
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
And Theo uses his power to make sure that Elliott stays separated from his family.
Well, so it's not quite his power, but it's the damage has been done to Elliott's reputation. So Elliott comes back. He's declared sane. Technically, legally, he's not under Theo's care or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But it's in the papers.
Oh, yes.
The press has run with the story.
This drunken brother
This drunken, crazy guy has gone too far. He's an alcoholic. You know, quote, thankfully for Theo, he does succeed in muffling the baby.
Yes, at least they don't hear about the baby because Katie Mann never speaks up. I mean, how
even when Theo's elected,
she had
I would go for his inauguration and just Simba that kid.
Hold him up.
Just no words.
I'd pull a Kavanaugh, that lady that spoke about when Kavanaugh was going through trial.
What, just get up there and...
I mean, she took him to court and everything when he was getting...
Yeah, her life got pretty fucked up for that.
Oh, yeah, her whole family got destroyed. There were death threats and everything.
That's the thing, though. That's tough.
That's what happened. You know, he had to commission a couple of those threats.
Yeah, like my fucking crazy ex.
Yeah.
It's doing false flags against herself.
Yeah, your ex made all that stuff up.
Yep.
Every time you told me that, I was like, it's pretty easy to see she did all this.
And I'm like, I feel so bad. I can't believe people are treating her like this.
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, Zach,
yeah,
this is all fake.
Yep. You should have put me in a conservatorship, made me a ward for a few years or something. I needed some help.
Should have taken your nest egg.
Yeah.
So it's out, but it's not as bad as Teddy. And it looks better for Teddy Roosevelt. Because this is coming out to like, oh, you have a drunk brother who's running across Europe, pissing all over the place.
They're like, yeah, but everyone's got, that guy.
Yeah.
We all have a crazy uncle.
Teddy's like, look, I got it under control. He's separated from his family. The family's intact.
Family's strong.
He's a pariah.
Yes, I've removed the tumor. I've cut him out.
And meanwhile, Eleanor's at home like, Dad?
Yeah. The wife, soon after, dies. Hall, I think her name's Hall, right?
Sally
Rebecca Hall.
Ann Hall.
Anna Hall.
Yeah.
Dies of diphtheria.
Diphtheria. My favorite EDM band.
Yep. It's more either death metal too.
Diphtheria would be good.
Sounds synth death. So she dies.
The son dies.
Right. Well, the son had died earlier, I think.
Oh yeah. So
Elliott, this is his problem. He doesn't have a job. He has nothing to throw himself into. So he comes back. He's been in the papers, in the press at least, which is kind of all that matters to him, declared insane. He's a pariah. He can't go back to his social life, which is what he had. He can't go back to his family, which is you can only kill so many tigers before you're like, what is it all for? And he ends up attempting suicide. I don't know if he jumps off a building.
I think he jumps out of a window.
Jumps out of a window. He survives it. He has a seizure. and then dies shortly after.
Dies a couple days later. Yeah,
at the age of
survives. Dies a
34.
couple days later. He hits another seizure.
Yeah,
And then dies from
leading up to this,
complications.
he's drinking like bottles of brandy
Yeah.
and champagne every day because his life's been ruined by his brother.
And then his brother's probably like, "Good. I hope he dies."
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think he, like Rosemary, was like, I hope I don't. He's my spirit brother now. He's just gonna like kind of fizzle into anonymity
Into
and
abyss.
into the abyss.
That's what rich people have access to send you into the abyss.
Yeah, the rich have the keys to the abyss.
Yeah.
Is one thing you got to look out for. That's
You
what
gotta
those
break
billionaires were trying to find. They were trying to.
In every mansion, there's a glass case with the keys to abyss.
Yep, yeah, and it looks like a dark room. It's actually just the abyss. Don't go in there. There's always one
Is
room
that
in
the
a
wine
mansion
cellar?
you're not allowed to go into.
Yeah. That is not the wine cellar.
It's 'cause
That
it
is
opens
the
up
abyss.
to the abyss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was condemned to this pariah status, and he ended up taking his own life basically
At 34.
at 34. So extremely sad. I hope you feel brought into the light. It feels a little
I
inappropriate
mean, it ends
to
sour,
say.
but this is the thing. Now, come to conclusion, Teddy did this, remember, because he was worried about his
yeah.
reputation.
This is a nice closer.
He got himself, during all this, he got himself to vice president.
Yep.
He was thinking, okay, sooner or later, I'm going to position myself to run for presidency.
And he got to VP sans scandal.
Yep.
No Skandusky.
McKinley, that's funny, the president gets assassinated. He is now, my favorite word, jettisoned.
Jettisoned.
How did you forget it?
I was thinking of cahoots.
I trust you.
I was Teddy Roosevelt, and I was just looking out for me.
And now he's president. So, did he do this all in vain?
I feel like, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say overkill.
Yes.
At least overkill. Literally.
Sure, you can't expect that the president's going to be assassinated in a time where presidents were assassinated. But just because it happened almost every president, there was many attempts to be assassinated. You can't hope.
You can't you can't bank on it.
Here's my conspiracy theory.
Oh, he's got the mug.
Welcome to the conspiracy mug.
Yep. That mug actually broke and was taped back together, but not everyone believes that.
Michelle Obama's a man, and Theodore Roosevelt hired the private investigator to take out McKinley.
He's like, look, you may. I know your main.
I know your expertise.
I know your expertise is mainly baby identification, but what about president extermination?
How's that sound?
Does that sound good?
He's like,
If
let
he
me call
doesn't
my
have
lawyer
my face,
Meeks
could you
and
kill
I'll get
him?
back to you.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have the face, could you kill him?
Yeah. If he's not my relative,
I have
would you
a
kill him?
Yeah. McKinley looks a lot like dead McKinley. Would you agree? How about you go kill him and let me know what he looks like?
This was kind of sweet. When McKinley dies, one of his last words, he's like, just be careful how you tell my wife.
Oh, wow.
He was like, she's tough.
How do they tell his wife?
Just, I don't know how
Your
they told his
husband,
wife. How do I put this?
he...
Is gone. Is that good? Was that good?
Are you triggered
feel like
by
I
that?
feel like
'Cause
I-
he's been
I
triggered.
feel like I bungled it.
And now, here's the impact of Roosevelt. It was very positive. What he did for the country, you can argue, was magnificent.
Sure, yes.
Panama Canal brought us to
Yes.
the world stage. Imperialism.
Well,
I mean, we should maybe. I mean, right now
let's
we're not. on
caveat it a little bit. At the time, you're like, yes,
Yeah.
he was a good, good.
Right now we're,
he
I
did a
think-
lot of good things as a president. He didn't monger war as a president. He just mongered it in his own family.
confidence.
The only people he thought should die were people related to him,
Yeah.
not the citizens of the
He
United
wanted everybody
States.
to have an equal shot at the American dream, and if you were
being
trying-
shot
yeah.
for America is what he meant by that. Look, the square deal is we all have a chance to be shot for this country.
especially if you're my brother.
Absolutely.
He called J.P. Morgan in, who was getting a monopoly, and he goes, "You're not getting this anymore."
Yeah.
J.P. Morgan was very powerful, and he goes,
Yeah.
You're not with me."
Imagine how much more powerful he would have been.
Yeah, and
So he's busting trusts. He's
I'll bust a trust.
He's busting nuts. He had some kids, but yeah, fuck Theodore Roosevelt. Honestly, I mean,
I would
know,
say yes.
I know he's remembered as this good guy, but he really fucked up.
Yeah, huge.
He
I mean,
huge fuck up. Just like what's his name? Joseph Kennedy. What was that guy's name?
The
What was
dad.
the dad?
I think it was still Joseph.
Kennedy Senior.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck Fuck TR.
This is you fucked over your brother. You ruined his whole family. You should have just paid Katie Mann the money right there. Don't bring your lawyer into this stuff. Go to the ATM or whatever. Go back to New York. Get the money. Have somebody else walk it down, and give her the money. You ruined her life. You ruined your brother's life, and you made the Panama Canal. Do you think your dad's happy?
Big whoop.
Big whoop.
I do hope his father's ashamed of him.
Oh, for
and I
sure.
do mean that.
I mean, what a dickhead.
I mean, I'll say, in terms of like, so I feel like just in closing, obviously you'd want to be Teddy Roosevelt if we're talking about who we're going to be. But I think we should try to think of him. Do you think this big incident, damns him and his reputation? Or do you think that his achievements not make it worth it, but kind of help you forgive him a little bit?
If he ran and
I'm making
elected,
it black and white here.
Yeah, if he ran and was elected, I would say yes.
Yeah.
But the fact that McKinley was assassinated and he took over, I can't get over that fact.
Yeah.
And sure, he didn't see that
He
coming.
would have won the race regardless.
Yeah, he would have won. He would have won, and like he also like the.
And then he lost.
Well, then he lost when he tried because he created that other party, right? The what was it called? The Bull.
Well, he fucked over Taft because was it Taft? Yeah. Taft was going to get reelected, and then he came back as an independent and pulled the votes from Taft.
Oof.
Which Taft didn't like being president anyway, so that was kind of fine. But yeah, I mean, no one really talks about Elliott. I do feel like this is one of the, like, people know about Rosemary a little bit more, for sure, more than Elliott. There's like scarce amount of information we can find
everything
about this
we
guy.
found on Elliott's like 3 paragraphs.
Yeah, because the Kennedy family is kind of mired in scandal, and they're like, there's enough scandal that they can heap a little bit more on. But I feel like people want to keep TR a little more pristine than
yeah, maybe it was also just
kind of like Einstein.
Yeah,
Einstein's Island. He's got some pretty cool inventions over there.
That's where you're an island where you go fuck all your cousins.
Yeah, and then cheat on them.
Yeah, jeez. What a dickhead that guy is too.
I know, but that's the thing is like people want to preserve the reputation. Like a big part of why Einstein wasn't criticized was because the people guarding his trust or the Einstein Foundation or whatever was trying to like whitewash and sugarcoat his life. And let's just be real. People are complex.
Yeah.
People make mistakes. Certainly, he wasn't an overall horrible person. I think he was basically moral and upstanding. Huge blemish. I would say that you didn't redeem your father.
No.
You actually plunged your name further into the dirt with this. Selfish guy.
Very selfish.
Self-centered.
But also giving off unselfish vibes.
Yeah, presenting as unselfish.
Presents unselfish, but it's giving selfish.
It's giving selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our Gen Z conclusion on TR.
So what do you... Yeah, okay.
So what do we think about Elliott? Here's the thing. He never got a real chance.
Yeah.
He never was given... Maybe he was given more than one chance, and he went around and he was causing a ruckus.
Maybe because of what happened to him, we're boosting him up a little bit.
Maybe it's like a JFK, MLK, right?
Yeah.
Kind of turned into heroes. These evil men. Yeah, no, but if you die young, you're going to be thought of you're going to be remembered a little more positively.
Yeah,
so who knows? He could have grown up to be a groping, drunken shitbag.
Exactly, his life
who just raped chambermaids until he was 85.
We don't know. Yeah, maybe he was a total asshole who his daughter just saw him like that because every child sees their parent as a hero.
Yeah, but I feel like Eleanor and he would have found it. He would have found his way.
I think he would have.
His wife was going to die, so that was going to be tough. But at least he would have had his kid,
and then hopefully he would have stepped up to the challenge.
Exactly, step up to the kid. The kid makes you better.
Yeah.
So
that's at least our guess.
That's the guess. That's our hope?
Hope for the best. He hopefully loses some of the alcoholism, raises the kids.
Yeah.
And lives life as a rich socialite. He probably dies of like a liver disease.
Right, of course. How everyone should go out.
Yeah.
God willing. It's just tough that when you're rich, if you're rich and you got a problem child, you only have so much slack that they'll give you until they sentence you to the abyss.
Yeah, is it abyss? How many times did he go to Europe? Twice? He went to India and Europe? Time for him to take a backpack to the abyss.
How about you pack up a suitcase because you got a one-way ticket to the abyss.
To the abyss, kid.
Yeah.
Bring your piss whiskey to the abyss.
Bring Comanche's Revenge. You're going to need it. Man, that sucks. So I hope you guys feel like you've learned about Elliott. You learned something new. Maybe you have a little bit of a different view of TR. You know, history's not black and white.
Sorry for all your super fans out there to put a little stain.
Yeah, how about you put that foam finger at half mast?
Yeah, how about you carry a big stick at low mass? What is it? Walk.
How about you carry a small stick and speak a little louder about the injustices wrought by TR, who I think was a big old racist, but I didn't have that confirmed, so I'm not.
Yeah, there was nothing that you could find.
I just heard that he was a big racist, and I could believe it.
I mean, you're a big, rich white guy living in New York
with a mustache who's smiling all the time.
Yeah,
you probably have some problematic views. But so I hope you guys have enjoyed the ep. Next week we're going to be talking about. I went to a concert. Charles was just being a corporate boy
cog.
on a corporate retreat, corporate cog. So thank you guys for listening. That's been the pod. Woo. I think we're going to wrap it up. If you want to check us out, our stand-up, etc., you can find me online at Zach Russell Comedy. I'm headlining in Boston. I don't have a website. Just go to my Instagram. I'll post the dates on my link tree and probably make a website soon. Charles, where can they find you? You
can find me at Charles_Engle. It's ENGLE. I'll be on the road with Eric Scott this July for a couple of days. You can also catch us live in New York together at Freestyle Comedy in Manhattan and Astoria if you want to come to a live show and see some of our jokes. They're all podcast-based. And listen to the podcast, share it, leave a review. Please give us 5 stars.
If you've made it to the end, please listen. Listen again and again. Play it back. Play it a third time. Play it a fourth time. Just run it. Thank you guys for listening. Please leave a review on iTunes. God damn it. It really helps.
We want to quit our jobs.
We love you. Thank you.